It feels like old times this morning, getting up at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning to film at 9 and being kind of bleary-eyed while doing it. And I realized I haven't actually brushed my hair yet this morning. But you know, getting back to my roots. I used to do this every week at the beginning of my channel, whether it was a good idea or not. So, hello everybody, my name is Rachel and welcome to my first weekly wrap-up of 2018. I have mostly been reading short stories. I've obliterated my backlog of Clark's World magazine issues. I read like 6 or 7 of them in a row. I was reading like 1 every day. I'm about to do the same thing with my Lightspeed magazine backlog as well, but it'll take me a bit longer because those issues are like twice the length of Clark's World's. So really that's what I've been in the mood for, and I have started a bunch of books and not finished many of them. Like, I will start something, I'll read 5% of it, and then wander off to go read some short stories and never come back to the book. So I don't know what's up with that either. But today I have 3 very short things to talk about that are what I usually talk about in wrap-ups rather than in like short fiction things or whatever. So the first thing I have to talk about is Lumberjanes Volume 7. This is written by Shannon Waters and Kate Leyh, and the artwork is by Carrie Peach and Aim Sotuyo. Those are very new to me, and the cover art is by Noelle Stevenson, who is one of the original creators. I love the covers that she does for this. I really wish that she would illustrate like an entire trade volume or something. I really miss reading her stuff, actually. I should go investigate to see if she has other comics I should read. That's a tangent. Clearly my brain, you know. It's early in the morning. So the 7th volume, you can tell at this point, I love this comic very, very much. It's about a group of girls who go to a summer camp, Lumberjanes, and they discover the camp is way more than it seems. I mean, they do things to get badges and such, and they learn good lessons, and it's about, I think the entire thing is really about friendship, and female friendships as well. But there are some very supernatural things going on around the camp. 3-eyed animals in the forest. At one point, an alternate world where time runs differently pops up a few times. And in this particular one, it's a whole story arc throughout the volume where the Grand Lodge, the senior Lumberjanes, come to review the camp and the counselors. And when they arrive, they are immediately swept up by a giant bird and taken away, and the girls go off to rescue the Grand Lodge with help of some other people as well. Because as they point out, they have a lot of experience with dealing with situations like this. I enjoyed everything about this. I love the way it's written. I love how a lot of the exclamations or like bad language substitutes are the names of famous women and stuff, like female scientists and things like that. It's a really cute thing that actually works. I also love the artwork. There have been artist changes throughout the series, and I've adjusted to each one because they all remain very bold and colorful. Just the whole thing is vibrant and alive, and it makes me so happy while I'm reading it. The second thing is Monteverde, Memoirs of an Interstellar Linguist by Lola Robles. This is translated from Spanish by Lawrence Schimel. This is about a woman, Rachel Monteverde, who is basically a xenolinguist who goes to the planet Anuk to learn about the people who live there and their language. So she lives with the Anukians and she's studying their language, but she also wants to investigate another group of people who live there very much in isolation from the Anukians, called the Fidia. They also have languages that she wants to know about, a more common language that they will let her learn, and then a more a language that's basically only spoken by their like caste of religious leaders or something, and she wants to get permission to learn that one as well. So it's really her experience over about 5 years living with these people, the very different way that they live and how that affects her, and learning languages, writing her official report, but also about what is the real division between the Anukians and the Fidia, who do not seem to get along very well, who do not like each other and each other's way of living. but nobody really wants to talk about what the original source of their disagreement was. And in some ways, I think the story is saying that they are very opposite, but each of them, the Anukians and the Fidya, each have something that the other needs or lacks in their own culture, which is a really interesting thing to dig into. So it's very short, it's only like 100 pages long, and I was surprised that it didn't feel choppy because for such a short length, it is made up of a lot of fragments and excerpts. Excerpts from the official report that this linguist wrote, excerpts from her more personal diaries, an interview when she is much older and not living on the planet anymore. It all just seemed to flow very well between the present interview and the snippets of the past and everything. I also think this is very much like Le Guin's work in the tone and the style and the fact that it's feminist science fiction and it's about, well, basically anthropology and linguistics and everything. It has that vibe of a lot of Le Guin's work and I think a lot of her short fiction work as well. I think it's a very apt comparison. I mean, it says on the back too that this is like Le Guin's work, but I think that's a very good comparison. If you like Le Guin's work, you should definitely try this out. I really, really enjoyed it. I think this is the only book by Robles that's been translated in English so far, but she has some others, and I really hope somebody translates them because if her work is anything like this, I really need to read it. And the final thing that I want to talk about here is a novella, which is Binti, the Night Masquerade by Nnedi Okorafor. This comes out on January 16th, so I'm actually on time talking about it. This is the conclusion to the Binti series. The first two novellas are Binti and Binti Home, and The Night Masquerade I think is the longest out of all of them, and I thought it was a very good conclusion to the story. So overall, this is about a Himba teenage girl named Binti who decides to leave her people to go to an alien university on another planet, and her family and her community is very against this because it runs contrary to their traditions and their culture, which means they're very inward looking and they don't leave home and they certainly don't leave the planet. But Binti wants to, she needs to. So she leaves in the first novella and she returns home in the second. In this final one, I think the theme of identity, like who is Binti, where does she belong, who are her people, where is her home, really comes to the fore. In the first novella, I really thought it was about traditions and how Binti's Himba traditions helped her when she left the planet. Like she had to leave home, but she took an integral part of it with her and it benefited her. The second one, Home, I wasn't quite sure what was going on, and I actually reread the end of Home before I got into The Night Masquerade, and I'm so glad that I did. I needed to remind myself of the action somewhat, but it suddenly clicked with me what was going on with Binti and her identity and her struggles and why she was so upset and why everybody was having difficulty accepting her and everything. So essentially, Binti is asking questions like, am I still even human? Am I still Himba? Because of all these changes that happen to her and things that she learns about herself in Home and in The Night Masquerade. So I really enjoyed it, and I think I need to read all of them, the whole series in a row, to really solidify what I think about it and to get to the heart of that theme that I kind of missed before. But really, I would say if you liked Binti, if you liked Home, you definitely need to read The Night Masquerade to cap the whole thing off. And that is everything I have to talk about this weekend. If you have read any of these and you want to talk to me about them, please leave me a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again very soon, and until then,